I bought my dream house in a quiet suburban neighborhood. The kind with tree-lined streets, manicured lawns, and an HOA that liked to pretend it ruled the world. I paid for 2 reserved parking spots in front of my property, one for my car and one for my truck. Simple, right? That was until Karen moved in. You know the type, pastel cardigans, short blonde bob, HOA newsletter clutched like a holy book. The first time I saw her car in my spot, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. Mistakes happen. Maybe she misread the sign. I knocked on her door, smiled, and said politely, "Hey, I think you parked in my reserved space." She barely looked at me, sipping her iced coffee like royalty, and said, "These spots belong to the community. It's first come, first served." Then she shut the door in my face. I thought, what? No way. The HOA rules were crystal clear, and I had the receipts to prove it. Asterisk, the next day, her car was still there, gleaming like a smug little trophy in my spot. I called the HOA, expecting backup. Instead, I got a lecture about being a good neighbor and not causing drama. Translation: they weren't going to do a damn thing because Karen chaired the parking and compliance committee. I laughed out loud when I heard that it was like a thief being in charge of bank security. Over the next week, she doubled down, parking in my spot every single day, sometimes leaving passive-aggressive notes on my windshield saying, "Don't be selfish, share." The HOA ignored every email and call I sent. That's when I realized something. If the HOA wouldn't enforce the rules, then I would. I started planning, not in anger, but in cold, delicious calculation. Late one Friday night, after Karen parked her shiny white Lexus in my spot again, I put my plan into motion. I had already called a private towing company earlier in the week, not the local guys the HOA used, but an independent one that didn't care about neighborhood politics as long as you paid cash. I gave them the address, the make, and the model. By midnight, her Lexus was hooked up and gone without a trace. The tow yard I used was 30 miles away, way outside our county, and they required ID and a hefty fee to release vehicles. But here's the kicker: I didn't tell Karen. I didn't leave a note. I didn't gloat. I just parked my car in my rightful spot and went to bed like a baby. The next morning, the neighborhood was buzzing. Karen was losing her mind, storming up and down the street, screaming about her stolen car. She banged on my door, demanding answers, but I put on my best poker face. "Wow, Karen, that's awful," I said, acting shocked. "You should call the police." She did. They came, asked around, even questioned me. I smiled and told them the truth. Nope, didn't see a thing. Which wasn't a lie. By the time I woke up, the car was long gone. Asterisk, Karen eventually found her car 4 days later. The storage fee alone was over $1,200, cash only. When she got it back, the first thing she did was march to the HOA and try to get me fined. But guess what? The HOA couldn't prove a thing because I hadn't violated any rule. Meanwhile, I printed out the bylaws and highlighted the section about reserve parking. At the next HOA meeting, I stood up and read it out loud in front of everyone. Karen's face turned the color of a ripe tomato while I calmly said, "If the HOA can't enforce its own rules, maybe we need new leadership." The room erupted in applause. 2 weeks later, Karen resigned from her committee position due to personal stress. After that, she never parked in my spot again. And me, I didn't have to lift a finger to make her car disappear, just a phone call, a little cash, and a whole lot of patience. Revenge, served ice cold with a side of HOA humiliation.